gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
I was about 30 minutes from walking to my house the other day. And screwing my tire. I was so mad. So mad over this weekend. Rough weekend, but it is what it is.
That happened to me a couple weeks ago. It's a pain.
The worst. And you know what's funny? I could feel it when it happens, too. I backed out of my driveway, and I just felt it. I was like, I had my window down. I heard something was wrong. No, not really the hissing sound, but like, you know when you roll over it, and it sounds like there's a pebble stuck in it? And I'm like, but no, that's weird. That sounds weird. It's a little off. That's not good. So I pulled over, felt around my tire, and all I feel is a massive screw right in the middle of it. I'm like, clean up the streets, man. Stop it. Stop leaving your screws everywhere, for people like me to run over. That's not cool. It's not cool.
It
not
happens. At all. It happens. And mine was the first day of summer, so I was like, man. So
yeah, you had to, at least you were. I wasn't out in the heat yet. That was
I didn't have enough time to get home to do it, so I had to pull over in the Valley Plaza parking lot.
Fun.
Where I was going to pick up dinner for the family, and by the time I changed that tire and then found out that my jack that was included with my Tacoma wasn't big enough to get these big tires off. So I had to call AAA after that. So I just gave him my dinner. I was like, just take it.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was worried about that when I was putting mine up because the jack they gave me for my car is tiny. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to work. I got it to work though, thank God. But like even when I was tightening the tire, the jack had fallen and my car shifted. And I was like, well, thank God the tire's on there already because otherwise I'd be messing with an absolutely messed up axle right now. But it is what it is. Hope you guys had a better weekend than I did. Do we have any text messages right now? 661-842-2000. I know we don't get to them nearly enough. And feel free to call us out on anything as well. I mean, we're here just for your guys' entertainment. So what do we got?
The first couple were talking about the three bands or music artists that they want to see.
Nice. What do we got?
In their prime the first one was Michael Jackson, Korn, and Pantera.
Korn you could still see. I still say I've not been able to see them in quite some time, but I've heard Korn is just as good now as they were when they were in their prime. So you can still see Korn.
I still think they're in their prime.
I agree with you.
If you saw them in the first couple tours, you could see the difference.
Look, man, if there is one rock band that'll probably keep going until they all die, just like old school rock bands do, it's Korn. Yes. It's the guys from here. They love playing together, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
The other one said Linkin Park, Woodchester,
of course,
Kiss,
nice,
and Motorhead.
Ooh, Motorhead would be awesome. You know what? I did not even consider Motorhead. That's another good one as well.
The next text says Savannah Bananas. Hell no. Chris has lost his mind this morning.
You look, man. It's just an idea. I'm just throwing out what possibly you could bring into the All-Star Weekend to make it a little more, entertaining for people that are younger or just people that don't like the product right now. It is something that's different, that's making baseball fun again. That's all we need to do. Make baseball fun to watch, and you'll get people to watch it. That's the long and short of it. So if I'm crazy, then I'm sorry. I've lost my mind in a million different things, but I don't think I'm off on this one. I really don't.
This one says, your season starts next week, Sparky. That's crazy, dude. Baseball is America. Are you not American?
Are you not American, Sparky?
Yeah.
I mean, did you watch the hot dog eating contest this weekend?
I did not.
You didn't see? Oh.
No, I can't watch somebody
You can't do that?
eat 70 hot dogs.
Dude. Honestly, that's the only time. I echo the sentiment of a lot of my friends, including our friend Ali Saldana, who might be listening right now. Hello, good morning. I watch it. I am grossed out every single year.
I can't watch that crap.
I watch the lemonade drinking contest as well with was it Joey Badass or whatever the guy's name is. I can never remember. But I enjoy it every single year. But every year I walk away thinking, thank God I don't eat like that.
It's like the Man versus Food. Have you ever watched that show?
Oh, God. So bad.
That's disgusting.
It's so, don't get me wrong. There are certain ones where I sat there and I think, okay, I could try this.
What's funny is we had Wiener Schnitzel Thursday night, and we ate 2 each, and we're all like, oh gosh, we're stuffed. And then this guy the next day eats 70. I'm like, that is just gross,
what happens when you start dieting. You can't handle it anymore, man. But yeah, 70 hot dogs from Joey Chestnut. 70. The over-under was 71.5. 71.5 is your over under, and I can't even imagine.
If you're betting on that, you obviously have an issue.
Look, man, I can't even imagine looking at 70 hot dogs, let alone eating them. So I give him credit for that. And I've also watched some docuseries about what these guys go through to train for these things, and it's crazy. Like, it's not just all about going and just being fat and just eating everything you can. Like, you have to train your stomach. You have to stretch it out. Like, there are certain things that you do.
Certain things they eat.
Yeah, like lettuce, I guess, is huge for this because like it stretches out your stomach while also just not keeping you
full. Is that why we eat salad before dinner?
I guess. I don't know. Okay. That's what I hear.
Big shout out to Dan over at Harris Barbecue because we did get the family package.
Oh, the brisket was so good this weekend.
That killed it.
That was my thank you, Dan, because that was literally the one thing that saved my weekend. I had a friend go pick it up for me. And honestly, we put it on the barbecue and said, this is the only thing that's saving my 4th of July weekend is the fact that I have brisket on the barbecue right now.
It was bomb, so I enjoyed
fantastic.
It. The last one says, nobody cares about that we lost in soccer, Burdick. We always lose in men's soccer. That's why the Americans support the women's.
I don't know. Again, this is true. The women's are far more successful than the men. That is 110% factual. I just have to shout it out. It was a big game for us. It was a big game for the U.S. men's team. We are not normally in the finals of anything. And against Mexico at that. And we only lost 2-1. That's a good sign. Now, granted, I agree with you. No one really cares about soccer. And Americans will most likely never embrace soccer. But when it comes down to it, I've seen a lot of salty fans online since last night saying the refs screwed us out of this game. The refs were totally helping Mexico.
That's
blah,
American
blah, blah.
way.
That's my point, though.
Complain about it.
Is it more that we are just salty?
Yes.
Or is it that we actually believe the referees screwed us over? I think it's more we're salty. I think we're just American that way.
We're just salty.
I think so, too.
Before we get into the last segment, preview Raw and tomorrow's show, I got to bounce a couple football things off you guys.
Yes.
Cowboys... social media, all-pro returner Kevontae Turbin arrested over the holiday weekend. So it was a misdemeanor, charges on marijuana possession and unlawful carrying of a weapon.
His career is most likely over.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You think, because they locked him in last year, I think on a 3-year extension.
But see, the only thing that I keep seeing here is Turbin is a fantastic kick returner, but really hasn't helped the Dallas Cowboys much after that. And, when we talk a lot about these lawsuits that come up against athletes, or at least have in the last couple of weeks because they've been popping up like weeds. The main point that I always have to keep myself around when it comes to these is a sports organization will keep you around when they see a benefit to you, when you don't go over your skis, as it were, when the amount of trouble that you are worth doesn't exceed the amount of money they pay you. And in certain situations like this, it sucks. It's probably not going to be that big of a deal, to be honest with you. You'll probably be popped with a misdemeanor charge and let go. I don't know if the Dallas Cowboys, though, are going to stick around and keep you because you're not a huge piece of the roster outside of kick returning. And honestly, they run through kick returners faster than they run through running backs.
Say that. As a running backs, yep.
So I would not be surprised if you hear in the next week that Turpin's no longer with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. He had 420 receiving yards last year, so that's pretty much somebody you can replace and probably save some money if you can put that clause in with some
going back
issues.
To this though, being arrested for weed and guns in Texas,
right?
How much
weed was it?
Yeah, how much weed was it, and how many guns did you have? Because you're in Texas. Like, what? Like, that's the one thing that when you texted me this over the weekend, I was like, how do you get busted for guns in Texas? That made no sense to me.
Must have been pounds of weed and some.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you had to have been doing some crazy things, especially to be a Dallas Cowboy player and busted for guns and weed in Texas.
And that's something I wanted to bounce off you was Travis Kelce was on Bussin' with the Boys podcast as usual, and he took a shot saying, teams are going to start targeting Travis Hunter's. Pretty much how he's going to, everyone's been talking, even Rich Eisen, who comes on right after us, has been saying he thinks that he'll get about 100 snaps a game.
Yeah.
So Kelce was saying that he thinks that teams that are playing the Jaguars that will just run hot routes all day, whoever's guarding, whoever Hunter's guarding, and just make him, run all game to fatigue him before he gets into the offensive side. Is that, you think, is something that teams are going to, strategize
100%.
against?
I think that was probably in the cards to begin with because, again, as we've said on this show, granted, Travis can play both sides. No one's saying he can't.
Yeah.
It's the physical demand that you're going to be dealing with. How are you going to be able to deal with the fatigue? How are you going to go through an entire 17 to 18 game season or week season and deal with that much? Like, I don't think you're going to be able to do it. And honestly, that's the first thing I would do if I was a coach.
Yeah.
If I see that Travis Hunter is, let's say that the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing, I don't know, we'll stick with the Miami Dolphins. And you got Travis on Tyreek. What's the first thing you're going to do? Hot route, nines,
Yep.
8, 7. Like, we're going deep route on him all game long to tire his butt out. You're going to have to play nothing but zone coverage, which is going to absolutely destroy you.
Yeah, that's what they want.
And exactly. That's exactly what offenses want. And then on the opposite end, now you get a Travis Hunter at maybe 75% kill. Maybe.
If you're lucky,
Yeah, if you're lucky. And how are you going to use that? Is he going to be a wide receiver? Is he going to be a running back? Is he going to be a tailback? What are you going to do? Because he's not going to be able to be on the field. I'm going to promise you right now, teams will run him ragged. And sure, if he'll probably try the whole first week. I guarantee you he will try to play the whole first game the first week just to prove a point. But by week 5, week 6, week 7.
Yeah, and this isn't college. This is a whole different speed.
Cohen is going to look at him and say, hey, take a seat.
Slow it down.
Take a seat. I need your ACLs and MCLs preserved, please.
Yes, we need you.
Like, you're playing arguably the hardest position in football at the cornerback position and then swapping over to literally be an all-everything offensive star. That's a lot to ask for from a rookie. It's a lot to ask for from anybody, regardless of who you are. And I don't care if he's got a motor like the Energizer Bunny. Eventually, it's going to falter. It's going to go out. We're all human. You're not Superman, dude. You're not. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen. And honestly, for Travis to go on a podcast and talk about it already means they are very confident it's going to work.
That's what they're all planning on doing.
Yep. They are very confident that it's going to work and that they're not the only team that's going to do this. So,
and lastly, the last one for football, I saw Devin Fitzgerald, son of Larry Fitzgerald, committed to Notre Dame, where a lot of these athletes' sons are all committing to.
All these Nepo babies and still no national championship, Irish. All these Nepos.
You think that's going to end badly?
No, I think this is going to be great. Honestly, you look at the team and what they have. I mean, there's a lot of really notable players. Plaxico Burris' son is on this team as well. Jermichael Finley's son is on this team as well.
Jerome Bettis.
There's a whole slew on this offense now. I think there's a couple defensive players, too. I'm pretty sure Brian Urlacher's son is on this team as a safety.
I didn't see him. I saw Bryant Young's son. I saw Flanagan's son and Thomas Davis Jr.
So don't get me wrong, Notre Dame is pulling in from these sports families and getting all of these kids, which is going to look cool on paper. But at the end of the day, if you can't win a national championship with these players, with these, again, lack of a better term, Nepo babies, you're going to get a lot of flack. You're going to get a lot more flack than you usually do because Notre Dame has a long history of success. You're obviously trying to build for more long-term success. And one thing Notre Dame does well, and I'm going to say this about Catholic schools in general, incorporate the families. If you can incorporate all of these athletes into your just alumni organizations, even if they're not alumni, imagine the NIL money you can get from this. Imagine the NIL money you can get from Larry Fitzgerald, Jerome Bettis, Plaxico Burris, Brian Urlacher, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You'll never have to pay for another athlete again. So I get it. I totally understand it. But as a USC fan, I hope you crash and burn.
Right.
I hope you crash and burn. And I hope we're part of it. But that's just me.
We'll take our last break. We'll preview Raw, and we got to get into this Trump UFC.
Yes, we do.
Right here on the Early Bird Special, ESPN Bakersfield, 1230 a.m.
101.1 FM. And welcome back to the Early Bird Special. Final segment of the day. I got to tighten myself up, too. I missed this one. Didn't even realize this, but Brian Urlacher's son, Kennedy, actually plays for the USC Trojans now. Transferred back in April. He saw the error of his ways and realized, God, I'm on the wrong side of this rivalry. I'm going to the Trojans. I'm going to the team that wins. Look, man, we win. I gotta put something over the Irish. Okay, I know we don't win all the time. I'm not Delulu.
I got to pick a baseball team in the next week, and I'm not going to go with a top team.
What?
And I'm not going to go with the Phillies.
Come on,
No,
join the Red.
I can't do it.
You can go with the Marlins since you're Miami.
I don't think that'll be it, but
We'll figure it out.
I'll
We'll
let
find
you
a
guys
team.
know in the next week.
661-842-2000. Who should Sparky's team be? Who do you think Sparky should root for, knowing what we know now about him and his fan bases? I still say Philadelphia would love another fan. Just saying.
I stopped following one team after the whole Bonds thing. So
Yeah,
I was like, all right.
I totally get that. Totally
But
get it.
President Trump announced Thursday he's considering hosting a UFC match at the White House grounds.
He's set on the lawn.
With up to 25,000 spectators in part of America's 250th birthday in 2026. What do you think?
Look, I am very back and forth on this because while doing my notes, it's President Trump. Okay, so everything he says, although he usually backs up, take with a grain of salt. I highly doubt you're going to see a UFC fight on the lawn of the White House. Although
I looked it up. I was like, is that something it's new?
No.
And they've had several events
Yeah.
out on the lawn. Foo Fighters, Stevie Wonder.
That's what I'm saying,
A couple
like,
concerts.
it's possible to actually do it. That's why I'm like, there's a lot of validity to this. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see 4th of July next year. Dana White has a whole pay-per-view planned.
McGregor already came out and said, count me in.
Like, dude, the amount of money you could make off of it is enormous. So can it happen? Will it happen? I don't know. It can happen. Do I want to see it happen? Not really.
He also came out over the weekend saying that the Commanders need to go back to the Redskins.
See,
I'm like,
you need to shush. This is why I'm saying, Donald, grain of salt.
Yes.
But looking at the situation and what it is, I don't think that it's a good look for America to have UFC on the front lawn of the White House on 4th of July.
On 4th of July.
I'm sorry. Like, there are better sports that we could be celebrating for
You can do the
America's
hot dog
birthday.
contest instead?
Yeah, then Nathan's hot dog eating contest is better than a UFC fight. Baseball would be better. I mean, boxing would be better, even though there's the corruption of it all. A UFC brawl on the White House lawn to me just seems so tacky.
I
don't
took
know
a lot
why.
of crap posting that on our social media over the weekend.
No, dude, I get it. I saw it too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I see all the messages. Here's something that I have to throw out though. If it does happen, Dana White would have successfully taken the UFC from bankrupt to on the White House lawn. That is a wild 180. And honestly, I'm going to present this question to you. Text in as well, 661-842-2000. If you want to chime in, we could talk about this more tomorrow. Does this put Dana White in the conversation as one of the greatest CEOs of a sports organization ever, or at least somebody who's helped guide it? Should this put his name in the same thing as David Stern, Jerry Jones, Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon for sure.
I mean, as much as we hate on Vince McMahon for all the stuff that he did, and he is a deplorable human being, you have to look at what he has done for wrestling in general, not just the WWE, but the entire industry in general. Like, the movement that these men have made. David Stern is very much credited with turning around the NBA from its drug use problems that it had.
Gang stuff,
And turning it into what it is today. Same with Jerry Jones, saving the NFL at one point, quote unquote. I think Dana White, if this does end up happening and we get a UFC pay-per-view on the White House lawn, dude, you got to go into the record books as one of the greatest sports CEOs of all time. You really do. I don't know. What are your thoughts before we get out of here?
I'm still confused.
Up in the air about it. I mean, again, if we do have a pay-per-view on the White House lawn, does it have to be all American?
Yeah, I was going to say, McGregor always
are we going to line up Americans against all of America's biggest enemies at the time? Like, how are we going to structure this? Maybe we do it in timeline order where it's all based on the wars that America has gone down and won.
No.
Like, I don't know exactly how you would do this, but I'm just saying, if Dana gets it done, if we sign this up, and honestly, they've already confirmed it that it's probably going to happen.
They're working on it.
So when this gets solidified and you hear about it sometime probably in February of next year, maybe January, my God, man, is this potentially going to be the biggest pay-per-view in UFC history and the biggest moment of Dana White's life?